Here's a shocking stat. Less than 6% of high school baseball athletes will play at the college level. With the recent NCAA settlement, is your student athlete at risk not being able to live their childhood dream and participate at the college level? Get this question a lot, and I want to let parents know that I talk to probably on average 50 or more college coaches a week, not because of recruiting, more from a perspective of kind of gauging their comments, thoughts, perspective with regard to the new landscape of college baseball. And I asked them directly, if you could give high school athletes advice, what would be your top three points that you would want any high school athlete, 2025 graduate, 2026, 2027, to know about the new realities of college baseball? You know, I really welcome all of the responses that I've been receiving lately with regard to the topics of the new rosters, the scholarships, the fallbacks from Division One, the athletes that are going from Division Three to Division One. And I thought I would take the time to really get a deep thorough perspective from the college coaches directly. Now, I've talked to NAIA coaches, I've talked to NCAA coaches, and I've talked to JUCO coaches. I have not spoken with anybody JUCO with regard to California. That's like a whole different world and a whole different animal. But I have talked to Division One NCAA, Division Two, Division Three, and some of these answers, I think, parents and athletes are going to be a little bit taken aback. So let's get started right away. Number three, almost to a man, every single college coach said the reality of today's college landscape is not something that's going to be changing or reverting back anytime soon. And by that, they're talking about the roster sizes, which are going to 34 or 36 at Division II. More and more schools are going to be very conscious from a cost perspective with regard to their athletic budgets due to Title IX, as well as at the Division I level, some of the name, image, and likeness concerns. And so coaches would really love high school athletes to know, and travel ball athletes, one is the same as the other. Do you want to play college baseball? Do you really want to play college baseball? And are you willing to prepare and do whatever it takes in order to become a college student athlete? A lot of college coaches, when I'm talking with them, will tell me that it's simply not fair, but yet that's the reality with regard to the physicality. Now, whenever I say this word, we get a lot of people that roll their eyeballs. And, you know, I see a proliferation of new content creators that come out here and they say D1 recruiting and get ready for D1. The realities are those people are just, they're out trying to get your money, basically, because Division I and high school athletes just is not going to go together as readily or as actively as in years past. Division I is going to become the professional division, or the P4 as we now know it, the college division. We're not going to call them mid-majors. It's going to be the college division, and it's going to be portal heavy and JUCO heavy and very high school light. That's just a reality. In fact, that'll be a reality at JUCO, NJCAA Division I, as well as NAIA Division I. The athletes that are playing in those conferences and those divisions will be older, mature, resume delivering student athletes, meaning they have a body of work by which they can be judged. And that is something that every single college coach wants parents and particularly student athletes to understand. Either begin working now to put yourself on par with regard to skill set. The days of trying to play 1,000 games in the summer and traveling from tournament to tournament, those days are pretty much done. The development-oriented summer programs, very much like NorCal, very much like the Dirtbags, the Knights down in New Orleans, uh, the Banditos programs. Those are really development orientated programs. The ones that are out trying to play in all of these, what used to be more relevant with regard to recruiting and not so much anymore, you need to be physically prepared. So at what point are you going to spend a significant amount of time to build the foundation as well as create your time management, your daily routines and disciplines that simulate that of a college student athlete, meaning getting up early, putting the work in. Again, do you like being a baseball player, or do you really want to be a college baseball player? That's number 3. Number 2, I think, and it kind of coincides with point 3, the amount of baseball that is being played during the summer that really doesn't correlate or represent what college baseball is like, meaning pitchers are throwing 2 innings and they're out maxing out over those 2 innings, and then another pitcher comes in, and then another pitcher comes in, or hitters. You're not getting quality at bats against quality competition, particularly in pool play. So college coaches are keenly aware that the summer collegiate leagues that the college players are going to is the apple to the apple. It's the college player versus the college player. And the portal is now going to be literally loaded with players. If there's one thing that is definitely happening, and all it takes is one look on your social media platforms, take your pick. Everybody's decommitting. Everybody's got 3 or 4 years of eligibility, and they're all going to be entering the portal, which is open for business beginning on June 2nd of 2025, and will run right up until the week after the MLB draft in July. So college coaches, and it's not just Division I, and I think parents have this kind of this thought process that you're getting Division I is going to go to Division I. This affects all of college. So you really have to understand that a lot of the fallbacks are going from Division I, particularly those that don't have a resume, meaning they didn't play at a mid-major program. They kind of, rode the pine a little bit. They didn't get any significant at-bats or innings on the mound. And so they have to go someplace where they can play and create a resume. And so what's going to happen now is you're going to see, I think, moving forward every year, not to the degree that we will see it this year. This year, I firmly believe that we'll see a portal well north of 6,000 athletes when all is said and done. And then you're going to see a lot of those athletes scurrying amongst all of college baseball. Bear in mind, 6,000 athletes in a portal, as well as if we add JUCO graduates, and let's just call that number 1,000. So we're talking 7,000. That's approximately 40% of all of college baseball. And, we're not losing 40% graduating seniors. And so those players in the portal are going to take up a significant amount of recruiting time and evaluation from college coaches. And I think that's something that you really have to understand, that the high school athlete that has not been in the weight room, that has not physically prepared themselves for the rigors of what awaits them as a college student athlete, they just can't compete with that transfer guy that may have had 100 at-bats and just doesn't feel like there's any light at the end of the tunnel, and they want to have some semblance of a college career. So really, student athletes in the 25, 26, and even 27 have to begin to look at alternative routes into college. And obviously, when I say that, I mean possibly postgraduate years, gap years, baseball academies, also obviously Division III programs within the NCAA, Division II, NAIA. You really want to begin to widen your search, cast a wider net to be able to give yourself some options. Try not to be singular with regard to your focus of Division I or bust, widen that lens a little bit. The number one, absolutely the number one, and I think this really requires some understanding. I think every college coach wants more mentally disciplined, mentally prepared athletes that are accountable, that understand the journey ahead is very, very difficult. There's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of hurdles. Most importantly, there's a lot of disappointment. And you have to want to fight through. You have to be able to show up the next day, flush yesterday, and be prepared to be at your best today. And I think what we are losing sight of as an industry, and I don't mean this to be critical, I mean this to be genuinely, trying to be as informational as I can from an edification standpoint for families. When you see people that will talk about, my son played Division I athletics and I can tell you what it's going to be like, or you see these recruiting services that are, and they're trying to create fear. And some keywords, some travel organizations that are creating fear, and they're trying to tell families that this is the way, it's always been the way, it's always going to be the way. That is incorrect. It's simply not accurate as to what is actually going on. And so when I talk about mental discipline, I talk about understanding and immersing yourself in challenging yourself to really be a strong communicator, to understand where these coaches are with regard to their recruiting. Ask them, what are your needs? What will your needs be? What do I need to capture your attention? You need to be gathering as much intel as you can to gain a coach's trust. The more accountable that athletes are on their own, the more a coach is going to engage with that student athlete. And I think parents stepping away a little bit, kind of helping with the gathering of the information, but then allowing your student athlete to take the lead, I think will ultimately pay dividends as that student athlete is getting closer to the college years. I also want to share with you that a lot of these changes, and I see some questions coming in now, and I'm going to hit that. A lot of parents need to understand the landscape with the settlement, 34-man rosters. There will be cuts in the fall. There will be some access to name, image, and likeness, but for the most part, that's just going to be in the professional division. I think coaches are trying to tell athletes, hey, look, you want to make money? Great. There are a few programs that do that kind of thing, name, image, and likeness. Predominantly, they're the Power Four. The commissioner of the NCAA, Charlie Baker, essentially said to those schools in the Power Four, and this is something that you need to understand, you regulate yourselves. You Power Four conferences or future professional division, you regulate yourself. We're not going to regulate you. Amateurism, college eligibility, we're NCAA, we're out of that. You're going to handle that on your own. Huge, huge change. But at the college division, and you want to refer to them as mid-major schools, the WAC, the Mountain West, the CAA, they're going to be kind of business as usual. You got to maintain certain academic standards. The NCAA is going to be monitoring them. They're going to be looking for fallout players from the professional or the P4 division. So the landscape is going to be more challenging for the high school athlete than in any other period of time since college baseball has been around. And so you need to begin to create alternative pathways. You really need to look at what is realistic versus a dream. You do not get to choose where you go to college. College coaches are going to choose your athlete. And so, you might say, boy, oh boy, I want to go to this school. I'm just as good as that guy on that roster, or that guy. That's just not the way it works. College coaches now, more than ever, they get paid to be successful, and they want athletes that are going to help their program win games. And, for parents that are looking at me sideways with regard to JUCO in Division III, those two areas of college athletics carry JV teams or developmental squads. And I'm telling you, and even Division II in some cases have large developmental squads. So there's no longer this assembly where you go from high school at travel ball and you go right to college and you're playing right away. That's just not going to happen. These 5 years that I think we're all going to end up having at the NCAA level, not the NAIA level, choose wisely, because you want to make sure that campus, that community, that program, it fits who you are as a person, and then secondarily as an athlete, because it's going to be a very rare, if we look this year in 2025 at the number of at-bats, innings pitched, innings played, for freshmen, not a lot of innings, And when if any of you watch any of my coaches' corner discussions with the Division III coaches, you hear them all say to a man, Matt Noon at Babson, Brian Casey at Coast Guard, Timmy Mayo at Nichols, they're all saying to a man, hey, we have guys that come in here, they play really well, they build their resume, and off they go to Boston College or UConn or anything like that. So I think it's really important for parents to understand that these changes that are occurring are pretty much the way things are going to be for a significant period of time. And at some point, coaches are telling you, be stronger, be mentally and physically stronger, be better prepared, and be a better communicator. As a student, prepare your questions, be prepared, know where it is that you're looking to try to go and why. What is your why? Now, I get this a lot, and I have a lot of parents now. I have college coaches that call me on a regular basis. Well, I'm looking for a left-handed pitcher. I'm looking for a left-hand hitting catcher. I need a middle infielder that can play the middle of the diamond. I need a catcher that hits from the left side. I need a catcher that can handle a strong pitching staff. I get that constantly. And I have parents who their student athletes are going into the portal. The number one thing is you do not want the portal to become a yearly thing. You really are looking at this from okay, it didn't work here. I need to make sure I find that my next home is my permanent home. And there needs to be a lot of questions that you need to be prepared as a family to ask. Finally, I want to talk about the membership. The membership, for me personally, I deal with parents that are constantly talking about this recruiting service, that recruiting service. The days of needing a true recruiting service are pretty much done. They're done. A lot of this stuff can be done on your own if you take the time to educate yourself, create an awareness and an understanding of where your student athlete truly fits. Then you can go out and do a lot of the legwork and really find a great experience for your student athlete. With my membership, I want to let parents know a couple things. First of all, Cressy Performance, a regular monthly contributor. Tamara Seaman, a mental performance coach, regular monthly contributor. The Lions Den, my son Tyler, Matt Tabor, they have a complete staff of former professional pitchers, major league pitchers, strength and conditioning coaches. The Lions Den, they are going to become monthly contributors to for our membership for content. You're going to have courses. I have 4 courses that are up now. From ages 3 to 9, there's a course. From ages 10 to 15, there's a course. 15 to 19, there's a course. And then college recruiting course for NAIA and NCAA. That's all on there. That's all included in the membership. All my books, all my audio books that you get to listen to at your leisure, all downloaded and available for you as part of the membership. The College Coaches Corners, those are all part of the membership. You get to submit questions, and every coach that I talk to, next week I'm talking to Austin P. I'm also talking to the head coach at Blinn, one of the JUCO powerhouses. These coaches are telling you as families and student athletes what they're looking for. They're providing you tremendous information and insights. All of that is available for $20 a month. That's it. So for me, and then you get access to me for direct message, for emails. We do an evaluation where I'm on the phone with you, a stream call, just like this, one-on-one with you as a family. And we talk about what it is I see, how I'm evaluating you, things you can work on, things you need to seek out as far as skill set development is concerned to help you better prepare to be a college caliber student athlete. Now, I really am encouraging you to do the membership, but if that's not in your budget, subscribing is free because all of the content that I'm going to continue to put out on a weekly basis, 4 to 5 videos a week that are going to be informative, such as this one that is a ProLine Balls sponsored live Q&A. I really think that this is valuable information. We're going to continue to have Tamara join us on Tuesday nights. I'll also have some nutrition coaches to talk to us on Tuesday nights. All of that is free. But please subscribe to the channel. Engage with the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel to help this platform provide valuable content for parents and all throughout the course of the year. Softball coaches, baseball coaches, and every training capacity, drills, things of that nature will be available on the channel. I appreciate you continuing to send your questions in. I look forward to next Tuesday evening. Until that time, have a great week in baseball. And if you're playing in your state tournament, take time to take photos and absorb it all. After a while, everything that you're currently seeing in your front windshield is going to be in your rear view mirror, and you're going to miss it. Take time to really appreciate it.